raising the 12th man flag. Seattle won the toss. They deferred. That means Aaron Rodgers on this 51-degree day with gusting winds up to 25 miles per hour will start his day momentarily and start it from the 20. The numbers in his postseason career: 22 interceptions, rather 5 interceptions, 22 touchdowns, the quarterback rating. The career postseason record might surprise you, just 6-4. Coming off that gritty, gutty performance at home against Dallas. Here we go. Four-man rush. Rodgers out to his left. Throw is low, but caught. That's John Kuhn. And on first down, a pickup of 3. Second down and 7 coming up. Graphically, we look at what they've done. They love to get off to a great start, and they like to start fast, Troy, as they're doing right now.
Well, they're not wasting any time, and on the first play of the game, they lined Jordy Nelson opposite of Richard Sherman. Aaron Rodgers was looking that way, but pressure in his face, he had to go to the backside.
Here's Lacy. Nice play. Up from the secondary with support. And the defensive lineman Kevin Williams, who is filling in up front, have had some injuries. They no longer have Brandon Mebane up there or Jordan Hill. And you look at what they've done here defensively in Seattle. This defense is rolling on a 7-game win streak. 3rd and 7. Bennett came across, and it's against Seattle.
Defense number 72. Step in the neutral zone, causing an offensive player to break a stance. 5-yard penalty will remain. 3rd down.
Well, with all this crowd noise, Troy, these defensive linemen like to get a jump. They have more defensive offside calls than any other team in the NFL this season, and Bennett makes it now 3rd down and a long 1.
A lot of different variations as well for the Packers with that silent count, which clearly they have to use due to the noise here in Seattle.
They give it to Lacy. He's got a first down. And Eddie Lacy, who got dinged week 1 here on the opening Thursday night, had only 34 yards rushing, picks up 13.
You see the block here by Randall Cobb in the slot position and how he's able to create a lane for Eddie Lacy. That was a big penalty on Michael Bennett. It makes it 3rd and short and allows him to run the football to pick up the first down.
Here's Lacy again. Left side, that's where he likes to run. They've got one of the best left guards in the business, Josh Sitton, who's been getting healthier and healthier after tearing a ligament under his left big toe in week 8 against New Orleans. He's terrific. More times than not, Lacy will take it to his side. 2nd and 7. Penalty flag flies. This one may be a free play, and downfield for Nelson, incomplete. But with the substitutions, we'll see if Seattle had more than 11 on the field.
Might have had 12 on the field, Joe. They're running an up-tempo offense and caught him in a substitution.
I think Aaron runs that about as well as anybody in the NFL. In fact, surprised they don't do it more.
The 12th player on the defense did not leave the field in time. Illegal substitution. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
It's Bruce Irvin who's trying to get off the field with the substitution. Aaron Rodgers, as you said, Joe, does an outstanding job of picking up the tempo, and when he recognizes that a defense is trying to substitute players, he'll get the ball snapped as he did and catch him with an extra man on the field.
This time the 12th man hurts Seattle. 2nd and 2. Jordy Nelson against Sherman. High snap, quick throw, pass behind Adams, first down. And a good catch by the rookie who let everybody know last week, and the Cowboys know just how good he is.
Well, and Aaron Rodgers told us the other day that on that last throw that he made to Davante Adams on the last drive for them against the Cowboys, he moved him from one position to the other, knowing that that's where the ball was going to go. Showed great confidence in him. He made the play and essentially locked up that game.
Adams not a factor at all week 1 when these two teams met. Good protection, quick throw. Cobb in space, makes a move. A flag is down. Cobb's got a first down. Bangs into a parabolic mic on the sideline, but a flag is thrown.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, defense number 56. This penalty will be declined. Result to the play, first down.
They get Cliff Avril, and the play will count. Another first down for Green Bay.
You see the route. They run a simple flat slant combination. They're able to get the ball to Randall Cobb. Here's Cliff Avril, and the penalty. He gets the hand under the face mask of right tackle Brian Bulaga. Bulaga got injured in week 1, and that was a huge deficit for this Green Bay Packer offense. They just couldn't function. He's got his hands full with these edge rushers.
Rodgers pulls it back and then tries to hit Adams. Pass incomplete, 2nd and 10 coming up. Davante Adams was not even the 3rd receiver week 1. He's been getting better and better. Had a down month of December. At the big game at the end of November against New England. Then last week just went off. There are the numbers against the Cowboys in the divisional win.
They've been needing a 3rd guy to step up. Richard Rodgers did in the season finale against Detroit. Last week it was Davante Adams. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb have been outstanding all year. They get Davante Adams going like they did last week. They've got something.
2nd and 10. This one far sideline. Incomplete. Good coverage. Jordy Nelson, the intended target with Maxwell, and those two saw a lot of each other in week 1.
They sure did. They lined up Jordy Nelson in that first matchup on the left side of the formation on every snap except 3. And they went after Byron Maxwell, and you better be careful when you're going after him too. Richard Sherman, obviously the elite corner, but Byron Maxwell is an outstanding player in his own right.
Rodgers, top-rated quarterback on 3rd down this season. Cobb in the backfield. Protection, end zone. Adams, and picked by Sherman. Oh, they're playing with fire, and number 25 just burned Aaron Rodgers.
Talked to Aaron Rodgers the other night, Joe. I said, are you going to try a deep ball against Richard Sherman? He plays it as well as a receiver does, and he makes him pay.
Pickoff. Sherman, the best in the business.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Turnover is confirmed. The good catch, both feet down by Sherman. It's a pick. Here's Lynch. Falling as he got it. Marshawn Lynch picks up 3, and let's go back to the interception, Troy.
Well, initially, Aaron Rodgers is trying to throw the ball to the left side of the field. Davante Adams one-on-one on Richard Sherman, and I would be nervous about throwing anything deep to Richard Sherman, because if you underthrow it, it's going to be intercepted. Cam Newton found that out last week. A lot of quarterbacks have over the time of his career. But Rodgers comes back, not only underthrows it, but he's late on the throw, and he made him pay.
Here's Wilson. Out to his right, throws it away. So Richard Sherman, Troy, started his collegiate career as a receiver. He got drafted in the 5th round out of Stanford. He came into the league with a chip on his shoulder. Not a great friend of Jim Harbaugh for his time there at Stanford and then his time in the NFL. And the numbers are unbelievable. 24 picks in his first 4 years. That's 1 shy of tying the NFL record. He's got 2 this postseason. And I haven't heard you talk about cornerbacks the way you talk about Richard Sherman in the time we've been together.
Well, I think you can throw the ball against him, but you've got to be able to use the receiver size. Take Jordy Nelson and use his body, but when you start throwing balls down the field and allow him to make a play one-on-one, typically he's better than the receiver at playing the ball.
Here's one picked into the air, and the rookie Clinton-Dix on the return is going to be knocked out inside the 5. Tramon Williams is the first guy who got his hands on it in front of Jermaine Kearse, and it's a tip, a pick, and the Packers are in better shape than they were 5 minutes ago.
Excellent coverage by Tramon Williams. This ball gets out in front of Jermaine Kearse, and because of that, the ball gets tipped up, and Clinton-Dix is right there to catch the ball off the deflection. Both of these offenses have done a great job all year long of protecting the football, not turning it over. And here on the first possession, each quarterback has an interception.
At the end of the play, they threw a flag on sportsmanlike conduct against Green Bay, and this is big. It's Daniels that came over and got in the face of J.R. Sweezy. And instead of having first and goal from inside the 5, the ball's backed up to the 19-yard line.
Well, it hurt the Green Bay Packers last week in that game against the Cowboys with T.J. Lang. He came in, got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, 15 yards. Just not smart football.
Trying to win a playoff game on the road, that kind of stuff will kill you. Mike Daniels guilty of it. It's a 1st and 10 now from the 19. Russell Wilson had gone 4 straight playoff games without a pick. That streak over. Timeout, Green Bay. So each side has a turnover. Aaron Rodgers right back to work. No score early in Seattle.
Is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Drive starts at the 19. Spanish language broadcast available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing SAP on our broadcast. Cobb in motion out of the backfield. Rodgers over the middle's got the rookie tight end, and another guy who's much more of a factor, Richard Rodgers, than he was in week 1, is good for 12. And the Packers are about back to where they were before the unsportsmanlike conduct.
A good pocket in the middle there for Aaron Rodgers, and they get a free release with Richard Rodgers over the middle of the ball, and that's an area of the field. I know in talking with Aaron the other day that he feels that if they're not able to get the ball down the field, that little pocket right over the center has been a weak spot for this Seattle defense.
Here's Lacy on 1st and goal. Eddie Lacy, the second-year back, is going to lunge near the 1. Much better day today weather-wise than last week in Green Bay when the asthma acted up. He's also been bothered by a bad knee, but he looks charged up and ready to go, good for 6. And it's 2nd and goal with the ball right at the 1. Extra offensive lineman in there for Green Bay. See if they can pound it in. Here's Kuhn, the fullback. He is in for the touchdown. And it's points off the turnover, the interception on the deflection. And John Kuhn, the Pro Bowler, pounds it in, the fullback, for the first points of the day, and will give it another look and make sure the elbow wasn't down before the ball broke the plane. Elbows down, and then the ball.
Rolling on the field was touchdown.
Because it's a scoring play, they'll give it another look, and I think they're going to pull this one back.
And it's just a matter of where the point of the ball is at the time that the elbow goes to the ground. From that angle right there, Joe, it would appear
the ruling on the touchdown
that he did not cross the goal line, but I don't know that we're going to have a definitive view.
Mike Pereira thinks they're pulling it back. If so, it'll be 3rd and goal. We'll get the call when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go first. And by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before.
We'll We'll get the call here from our referee, Tony Correnti. We think he's short. And it would be 3rd and goal.
After review, the runner was short of the goal line at the half-yard line. It will be 3rd down and goal from the 1.5-yard line.
Well, Joe, we've seen Mike McCarthy. I know it's 3rd down here, but I would have to think that he's viewing this as 4-down territory. We've seen him a number of times go for it on 4th down, especially on the road against a good defensive unit to get this close. I would expect him, if they are unable to score the touchdown here on 3rd down, to go for it on 4th.
Again, they bring in extra offensive linemen on 3rd and goal from inches away. Here's Lacey. He doesn't get it. It's 4th down, and Earl Thomas at the end of the play comes a few feet away from Aaron Rodgers, then sticks his right hand out to shake his hand, and Green Bay is bringing their field goal unit on as Bruce Irvin made the play.
Well, Bruce Irvin does a nice job of coming off the block just enough to stuff Eddie Lacy and keep him from crossing the goal line. And I think Mike McCarthy has seen enough times them not make it when they've gone for it on 4th down here, and he said, hey, we'll take a 3-point lead provided Crosby can make this field goal.
Less than an extra point. They just got it away, and it's 3-0 Green Bay, but we've had a reversal of the call on the field, and the Seattle defense kept Green Bay out of the end zone. 3-zip, Pack on top. Aerial coverage is provided by Nationwide here in Seattle. I know you're still surprised, as am I, that Mike McCarthy from less than a yard away didn't try it on 4th down.
Well, I think there's a lot of coaches out there watching this game that would have made the decision that Mike McCarthy made, and you take the points and you go up 3-0 on the road. But Mike McCarthy has been so aggressive, especially here in recent weeks, and he's so confident in his offense. I'm just shocked that he didn't go for it, and then if you don't make it, well, you're putting Seattle there on the half-foot line, and pretty good for your defense too.
That's how gusty it is. They have to hold the ball, and about midway into the end zone, it's brought out by Baldwin. Ball is out. Green Bay looks like they've got it. Remember, Paul Richardson, the rookie, is out. Tore his ACL last week. He had been returning kicks, and Baldwin puts it on the ground. Green Bay's got it. And 2 early turnovers here at home by the Seahawks.
How about that? You see Doug Baldwin and Brad Jones able to come in and knock it loose, and what a job by the special teams. Sean Slocum, special teams coordinator, giving the ball back to the offense with great field position once again. Seattle came into this game having turned the ball over just 14 times all season long, and now in the first 7 minutes of the NFC Championship game, they've turned it over twice.
Yeah, these were 2 teams that were in the top 3 turning the ball over, meaning the fewest. Green Bay tied for the fewest giveaways with New England with 13. Seattle right behind him. There's Sean Slocum, proud of his group. It's been an up and down year for the special teams for Green Bay, and they force a fumble. It was Brad Jones, the linebacker who's lost a lot of playing time this year, who forced it. And right back to work is Aaron Rodgers from inside the 25 at the 23. He's going to hand it to Lacy. He runs to the right side this time, and Eddie Lacy, who couldn't pound it in on 3rd down and goal, is good on 1st down for 8. Brought down by Tony McDaniel. Back to the fumble by Baldwin.
Yeah, it didn't look like anything spectacular, really. I mean, Brad Jones didn't punch it out, just came in to make a tackle and just did not secure the ball. But a costly turnover for the Seattle team.
Here's Lacy left side. Eddie Lacy, a lot of room to run. He is set up 1st and goal, and talking to Aaron Rodgers with the lighter defensive line for Seattle, He believes that they are going to run it right down their throat or attempt to.
Well, Eddie Lacy, going back to week 1, just had 34 yards rushing in that game. He's already surpassed that here in this first quarter. So they have had some success in the early going of this game on the ground.
Here's Lacy again, right into the arms of McDaniel. McDaniel was on the injury list this week, bothered by a shoulder. He's made a couple of good plays. A gain of 1, 2nd and goal.
Well, Joe, we came in talking about Richard Sherman and how the Packers were going to try to play against him. He got the interception. Really, since the early part of this game, the first possession, they put Jordy Nelson to his side. Since then, they have been going with Devontae Adams to the right side against Richard Sherman, and he's there once again on this play.
Second and goal. This is Nelson off his right hand, incomplete. Well played by Lane defensively. Good throw by Aaron Rodgers. The timing just a hair off.
Well, the timing was pretty good in terms of when he turned it loose. It just was a little too far out in front of Jordy Nelson in order for him to be able to make the play. They get the matchup. Their best receiver against Jeremy Lane, their nickel corner. They just failed to complete the pass.
Third and goal. Pass is caught but short of the end zone. Randall Cobb. And now it's 4th and goal again. And the field goal unit will come on again for Green Bay. Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas made the stop. So these are 2 misses in the red zone for this Green Bay offense with regard to touchdowns.
Well, Packer fans are cringing right now because we've seen Green Bay over the course of this year when they've been really good in the red zone, and we've seen them at other times when they have really struggled. They've now gotten down here a couple of times against a great defensive unit with short field position and have failed to capitalize.
This one from 19. It's a 6-0 game, but Seattle will take it. The good news is for Green Bay, they forced another turnover. The bad news is they couldn't pound it in. Frustrating Rodgers and the head coach Mike McCarthy. 6-0 Green Bay. Both these teams very good at not turning it over. For Seattle, last time they had 2 turnovers in the first quarter. It's been 60 games. 2011. And then on the Green Bay side, I'm sure Packer fans are back in Green Bay and all over thinking they've left 8 points sitting out there on the road at Seattle, leading by just 6. Still over 5 to go, opening quarter, in this one out of the back of the end zone. And tonight, the man they're calling the Irish Muhammad Ali is fighting on Fox Sports 1.
I am the notorious Conor McGregor, and no fighter alive is a threat to me. They don't move like I move, they don't think like I think, and they don't talk like I talk. And one thing is for sure, they certainly don't look as good as I look. See for yourself tonight after the AFC Championship, only on Fox Sports 1.
He was on the road to becoming a plumber. He's 4-0 in UFC, and I mean, he is fun to watch.
That dude's the real deal, isn't he?
He is.
I watched some of him and those fights, and man, that guy, he is something else. The Irish Muhammad Ali.
He can talk. Here's Lynch. He doesn't like to talk. Thank you for asking. I'm thankful. A gain of 3. Marshawn Lynch. It's become a game for him with the media. It's been an expensive game where he doesn't talk when a microphone's put in front of his face. And when he's forced to, he just gives the same answer over and over. There was word that he was going to wear golden shoes for this game, but the league said, go ahead and try it. First time it'll be a penalty. Next time he'll be gone in traditional shoes. 2nd and 7. Seahawks trying to establish something, and brought down from behind is Wilson. Good pressure, and it's Julius Peppers who is celebrating his 35th birthday today. He had a Fountain of Youth game last week against Dallas, and he's got a sack here in the championship game.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be Julius Peppers at the top of the screen? He just keeps playing, and he comes in, and Russell Wilson, fortunate to hang on to the ball as he comes down. It could have actually gotten Peppers with the face mask, but Russell Wilson hanging on to the ball as Peppers goes for it. Made a couple huge plays in that game last week and comes up with a big one there.
A couple of forced fumbles against Dallas. Now 3rd down and 10. Wilson hit as he let it go, and this has been a good start for this Green Bay defense. All the focus on Seattle's rolling defense, and after throwing a 3rd down pick on the first possession, this time it's 3 and out.
Well, Julius Peppers, you see the job that he does. He goes right through J.R. Sweezy at right guard, and J.R. Sweezy is a former defensive lineman who really has had a nice transition to the guard. He's been there since a rookie, but Julius Peppers goes right through him.
Packers are all up looking for the block, and they almost got there. End over end from Ryan. And a bobble from Hyde, who's able to get back on top of it. Stop raining, but the ball is slick. Sun in the eyes of Micah Hyde. Able to get back on top of it. Packers have it again. Up by 6. 2015 NFL Pro Bowl presented by McDonald's. Fantasy football for real. Michael Irvin, Chris Carter selected teams of the Pro Bowl draft this Wednesday. It's the Pro Bowl live from Arizona, home of Super Bowl 49 on Sunday, January 25th. Packers have the ball. Micah Hyde, who muffed the punt, losing it in the sun. Last time a ball was lost in the sun on a punt in Seattle was 1999. That stat is unofficial. We've had every season in about 2 hours here in Seattle. And after a day and a half waiting for it, Aaron Rodgers finds Jordy Nelson. And you give Aaron Rodgers that much time, that kind of protection with these receivers who know how to scramble, and Aaron Rodgers will pick you apart.
Well, there's 31 other quarterbacks in the league that'll pick you apart with that kind of time too. You see that there's just no pressure on him whatsoever. Jordy Nelson, he's waiting. No reason for him to go anywhere. He's open, and Aaron Rodgers finds him.
4th Packer drive, all 4 times they've been in Seahawk territory, and now Jordy Nelson tried to make a move before he made the catch, looking for a face mask call, doesn't get it. Nelson couldn't make the catch. 2nd and 10, and let's see why Jordy Nelson was upset working against Maxwell.
Clearly hands to the face mask by Byron Maxwell, but having said that, Jordy Nelson has to make that catch. We saw him make a couple drops last week. That was an easy ball that he typically makes.
Field has been tilted so far. 2nd and 10. Here's Lacy right side. Good blocking out in front. There's that move. Eddie Lacy with that spin move. And he is close to 1st down yardage, just short. 3rd and short coming up. Wagner in on the stop, and we've seen a lot of this move in 2 years from Eddie Lacy.
Well, he's a younger version of Marshawn Lynch. I mean, he's a physical runner. Cam Chancellor is going to be down in the box throughout this game. Davante Adams, he gets enough of him that he's not able to make a play on Eddie Lacy. I know in week 1, Eddie Lacy said Cam Chancellor rung his bell pretty good. That's a physical matchup between those 2 guys, but Davante Adams gets enough of him to allow Lacy to get by him.
3rd down and 1. And a timeout taken by Green Bay with a play clock down to about 1. And so before this 3rd down and 1, we'll give America a chance to see Troy Aikman. There he is, right there. I mean, this start for Green Bay, I know the scoreboard just says 6-0, but defensively, offensively, able to move the ball, able to open holes for Eddie Lacy. This is about as good as they could have hoped for coming on the road.
Well, it's as good as they could hope for in terms of field position, but not capitalizing. And this is a Seattle defense that has not been good throughout the year in stopping people from scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So as dominant as this first quarter has been for the Green Bay Packers, to only be leading 6-0, Seattle feels really good about that.
Yeah, well, now they've got a 3rd down and really less than 1. Aaron Rodgers moving around well. certainly moving around better in this first half than he did in the first half last week against the Cowboys. We're in field goal range for Crosby. But they're thinking first down. Here's Kuhn, the fullback, and he's going to pick it up. It's not spectacular with John Kuhn, but he seems to get what they need just about every time he touches the ball. That's a nice first down for Green Bay.
Well, it's really nice, and Green Bay goes with a full house backfield from the pistol set, and it allows them then a lot of options. You know, whether they're going to run it to the strength, they're going to go back weak side, hand it to Eddie Lacy, or give it to John Kuhn. But it was a good first down pickup by John Kuhn.
Under 2 to go, opening quarter. Pass caught. That is the rookie tight end Rodgers. And Richard Rodgers, who by Aaron Rodgers' estimation just wasn't ready for week 1, wasn't a factor at all. He's already had a couple of catches down here.
Well, what they've done on both of them is they've started Randall Cobb in the backfield. They motion him out. It softens up the defense because of the concern of Cobb. They then bring Richard Rodgers back over the middle of the ball, and both times there's been an open spot there for him to get it.
Good film study by Aaron Rodgers. As you said, it's exactly what he expected. Again in the red zone. Here's Lacy. Cuts it back a bit. And Eddie Lacy down inside the 15-yard line. Lacy set a Green Bay rookie record last year with over 1,100 rushing yards. Down a bit this year, but Troy, he finished the season red hot over the final 8 games, and I have a feeling he's going to be a key factor for Green Bay in this one against the Seattle defense. 2nd and 5. Jordy Nelson against Sherman. Again, a jump, a free play. Rodgers is going to go to the end zone. He's got a touchdown. Randall Cobb. A flag is down. The play continued. It looked like it was against Seattle. And if it is, it's a touchdown.
Offside.
It is.
Defense number 72. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
It's again Bennett, and on the final play of the quarter, touchdown Packers.
And Randall Cobb, he's working the back line, and the Seattle secondary collides. It looked like Earl Thomas. They run into each other, kind of a natural pick as Randall Cobb is trying to find a spot to get open and frees him up completely, and Aaron Rodgers finds him.
You and I both walked out of our meeting with Aaron Rodgers thinking that despite what he said, that he had regressed from last week with a bad calf, that he just had the body language of a guy who was feeling better than he felt a week ago. He's moved like it, got a hit, got a touchdown. Packers finally in the end zone and leading on the road. 13-0. Randall Cobb gets the 13-yard touchdown catch. As Jake Glazer reported before the game, Randall spent 3 hours in the hospital last night thinking he might have to have his appendix out. Whatever they gave him, the pain subsided. He moved around well in pregame warm-ups, and now he's got the first touchdown of this championship game. Aaron Rodgers really got hit when he let that pass go. But with the hit came the knowledge that the Packers, here's the hit, we're finally in the end zone. And a lot of discussion, Troy, on the Seattle sideline as this defense, which has been just dominant, they've won 7 straight. They've allowed the opponents an average of 8 points a game. They're not getting pressure on Rodgers, and Aaron's had his chance to just pick the defense apart.
Well, they're not getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. He's throwing the ball effectively, and then we've got Eddie Lacy, who already is halfway to 100 yards rushing.
And now movement at the snap.
Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And no team does this more than the Seahawks. They led the league in false starts.
Well, and that's really surprising too. And what's more surprising is over half of those false starts have occurred right here at home. So when you come here and you play against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, you expect to have problems with the noise operating as an offense. Instead, we've seen Seattle now come offsides defensively, Michael Bennett a couple times, and now a false start offensively.
Now 1st and 15, it's Lynch. He runs into Hyde. Marshawn Lynch didn't really get rolling last week against Carolina. Had 59 yards on 14 carries. And he's working with an injury up front as Justin Britt, the rookie right tackle, is out with a knee injury, and Alvin Bailey makes his first start at right tackle this season, and Hyde with a good job to make the initial stop.
That's a great job by Micah Hyde, working through the block of Jermaine Kearse, and more importantly, being able to make a tackle on Marshawn Lynch.
2nd and 11. Lynch to the right, cuts back. It's brought down from behind, a gain of 4. Nick Perry was in on the tackle, and Troy, this defense against the run was awful the first month of the season. They were better every month. They allowed less than 90 a game in December, and a big part of that was Barrington playing more and Clay Matthews moving more inside.
I think Clay Matthews has gotten a lot of credit for that improved run defense. I think those guys down in the trenches, Latron Guyon and Mike Daniels, Dayton Jones, I think those guys have all elevated their play also.
3rd down and 7. Here's one that is incomplete to Doug Baldwin. And so Russell Wilson, who was perfect on 3rd down last week against Carolina, has thrown a 3rd down interception, 2 incompletions, including this one, as Baldwin couldn't corral it going to the ground.
Hey, that was almost one heck of a catch there by Doug Baldwin, bringing that one in. And you're right, Joe. They were so good on 3rd down just a week ago, and they have failed to convert in 3 attempts here today.
We're having 1st down yet. We've only run 9 offensive plays. The Green Bay's 25. Bad punt, line drive. Hyde has a chance to move. Micah Hyde with a good return, and great field position to start for the Packers. Packers winning every phase of this game so far. They'll start with great field position, leading by 13. With the ball inside the 35, they're going to mark it at the 33.
I'll tell you, Joe, other than the opening kickoff, Green Bay Packers, they've been playing on the other side of the field throughout this game.
Well, this crowd's going to try to make some noise and encourage this defense that is having trouble. Look at the average starting field position so far.
Well, we'll see if Seattle starts trying to bring pressure. They've been rushing 4 throughout this first half and have not been able to get to Rodgers. We'll see if they try something else.
Still just 4 men on the rush. Rodgers drops it off, and Lacy can't make the catch. The punt and the return. The punt by Ryan, the return by Hyde. It was only a net gain of 10 yards for Seattle when they punted it on 4th down, and now 2nd and 10 for Rodgers. Had Lacy come down with that little pass, he had some room to run.
Eddie Lacy, who's 3rd on the team in receptions, he had over 40 catches throughout the regular season, and most of them were on that check down pass that he just dropped.
Again a flag. Here's Rodgers down the sideline for Adams, out of his reach, but could be another free play. Adams covered by Sherman, and this could be the 3rd offside, as this time it's McDaniel.
Offside, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty, and repeat, 2nd down.
Well, they get Tony McDaniel this time, and I can assure you, Aaron Rodgers knows when he's got a free play, and if he's got anybody going down the field, he's going to take a shot. He's got Devontae Adams one-on-one on Sherman, tries to get what he can. 5-yard penalty.
2nd and 5. Here's Lacey and a good play up front. That's Bennett. And a loss of 3. Good play by Michael Bennett, who is the best defensive lineman the Seahawks have. 3rd down.
You see they're trying to get the rookie Corey Lindsley. That's a tough block for him to try to make. He's got to try to reach Michael Bennett. With the quickness and power of Bennett, it's just not going to happen, and he made the play.
Be a 49-yard try from this spot for Crosby, the field goal kicker if the Packers don't pick up any yards. And Bulaga, the right tackle, guilty of a false start.
False start, offense number 75. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
They work that hard count every day in practice. You see at the bottom, number 75, Brian Bulaga. He's the one who moved. They got him, but this time the Packers flinched. But Aaron Rodgers has been masterful here in this first half, using the silent count and being able to keep this Seattle pass rush at bay.
It's a big 5-yard penalty. Now you're looking at more than a 50-yard try for Crosby if they don't get any yards. Rodgers on the middle, passes off the hands of Randall Cobb, and he was wide open. A flag is down. Flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Defense number 56. 5-yard penalty makes an automatic 1st down.
So the automatic 1st down for hands to the face against Cliff Avril.
It's the 2nd time now they've gotten Cliff Avril with the hands to the face of Brian Bulaga. And this is a throw you just don't see Aaron Rodgers miss very often. As you see the penalty on Cliff Avril, and it's a 1st down, but they're fortunate, the Seattle Seahawks are, that there wasn't a lot more yardage picked up on the play because he had Randall Cobb wide open.
First down. Here's Lacey. Go back to the throw that Rodgers missed as he had Randall Cobb wide open.
Randall Cobb, he's running the square in and playing zone coverage, and he's able to get there in that intermediate zone at about 15 to 18 yards and just failed to connect.
Seahawks have already been flagged 6 times in this game. They were the 8th most penalized team during the regular season in the NFL.
Well, the question was, could this offensive line hold up in pass protection for Aaron Rodgers? And it's a resounding yes right now.
Here is Cobb out of the backfield, and Randall Cobb on the handoff is knocked down a couple of yards shy of a 1st down by Earl Thomas. 3rd down and short coming, but well within field goal range here for Crosby.
Now Randall Cobb, he doesn't get the ball a lot when he's in the backfield, but Earl Thomas in some pain over there on the sidelines. When he came up and tried making a tackle, or made the tackle there on Randall Cobb.
A 1st down saving tackle now, 3rd and 3. Here's Lacey. Churning, about a yard shy. O'Brien Schofield made the stop. Schofield, a guy who was signed to a deal by the New York Giants. Pretty good money, but then failed a physical and came back on a 1-year deal for just over $700 grand. He's been coming on of late, and now on 4th down, Crosby. With the swirling winds here in Seattle, will attempt his 3rd field goal. He's hit on 13 straight in the postseason, this from 40. And he is perfect. It's a 16-0 lead for Green Bay. Crosby now 3 for 3 on the day. The all-time leading scorer in Packer history. And it's been all Packers so far in Seattle.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Find Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Jupiter Ascending from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters February 6th.
Packers turned it over on their first drive since. They've gone field goal, touchdown, field goal. Lead 16-0 here on the road. And with under 10 to go in the opening half, Crosby kicking with a lot of confidence, drills it out of the back of the end zone. We saw Earl Thomas come to the sideline, banged up on that tackle on Randall Cobb. And they've talked him at the moment into going inside to get looked at. More drama for the Seahawks down 16. Look at those numbers. 143 total yards. Seattle with 11 yards, no first downs. With 9.5 to go in the opening half. And they got to get it cranking. They proved last week against Carolina they can score points in a hurry. Russell Wilson still looking for his first completion, rolling out. He's going to air it out. Good coverage and picked off by Clinton-Dix. That's his second of the game. And Clinton-Dix on the return. What a catch on the pick. A flag flies, but that was after the interception. And it's another turnover for the Seahawks, their third. Trying to get it to Jermaine Kearse. And the flags came well after the pick. And how about the rookie Clinton-Dix? He's got 2.
He played this like Willie Mays. You're going to see him getting turned around a couple different times, and at the last minute he's able to find the ball. He's right here playing center
after
field.
The interception, personal foul, blindside block. Receiving team number 52. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's pretty athletic right there by Clinton-Dix. As he gets turned around, he's able to get back deep enough, and he turns around at the last minute, and he's able to catch that, haul it in with his right arm.
Here's the foul against Clay Matthews. That's who they said right there, and that was the hit on Russell Wilson, which costs Green Bay 15 yards of field position. But they still get the takeaway. And it's another turnover for Seattle.
Well, Seattle frustrated offensively, not being able to get anything going. They try on first down to take a shot. Just a great play by the rookie.
Crowd is as quiet as it's been as Rodgers slides through pressure and throws incomplete. And there's no doubt Aaron Rodgers is moving around better today than he did a week ago. And here's the pick again, the one-handed, one-armed catch by Clinton-Dix.
Just kind of caught it at the last minute, and here's the penalty then on Clay Matthews. He leads with the shoulder to the head, and that's what got the penalty. Just making the block wouldn't have drawn a flag. Now with Earl Thomas out of the lineup, Joe, they've got Deshaun Shedd, who is playing free safety for them, and clearly he's not the player that Earl Thomas is.
Earl Thomas out with a shoulder injury, return questionable. Here's Nelson, and Jordy Nelson down inside the 35. Good throw by Aaron Rodgers, right in stride, 23 yards to number 87.
Now you see the quick slant. Aaron Rodgers gets it to him, and that's where the Packers really make their big plays, is not so much down the field all the time. They're able to get the ball yards after the catch. Jordy Nelson does an excellent job.
This defense that can bully you, especially here at home, is getting bullied by the Packers here in this championship game. Back inside Seattle territory, and here's a pick. It's Maxwell. And exactly what Seattle needed, as Byron Maxwell made the catch before it hit the ground.
Just a miscommunication there with Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb. We saw them miss each other earlier, but he thought he was going to break out. He doesn't, and it's an interception, Seattle.
5 turnovers already in this game, and the Seahawks get the ball down 16.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout. Pay online in just a few clicks. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Aaron Rodgers threw only 5 interceptions all season, all of them coming on the road, and this a clean catch by Byron Maxwell.
Yeah, it was, and it was just a miscommunication between Randall Cobb and Rodgers. Rodgers thought one thing, he lets it go, and Byron Maxwell was there to make the play.
Here's Lynch trying to get him going, and Marshawn Lynch picks up 4, maybe 4.5. And the two teams start to shove. We'll go back to the interception and tell us what you're seeing on this one.
Yeah, well, here's Randall Cobb in the slot, and you're going to see that he comes off the ball and then he just hooks it up. And Rodgers is expecting him to break to the outside, and when he doesn't, that's what allows Maxwell to then make a play, and a nice play he does make in making the catch. But here the Packers, with good field position and an opportunity to potentially come away with more points, fail to do it.
Here's Lynch, makes 1 man miss, now 2 more. And Marshawn Lynch is good for 3, brought down by LaTroy Guion.
Pretty remarkable when you look at this first half, Joe. As we talked about, these two teams came into the league 2 of the best at not turning the ball over, and here combined they've turned it over 5 times.
Another 3rd down for Seattle. 0 for 3 on 3rd down. Looking for their first down of the game. It's Lynch, he's got it more. And a little life here in Seattle. Shields forced him out after a carry of 14.
Well, the Packers drop Morgan Burnett, their safety, down, and they've got him to the right side of the ball. He's right in a position to where he can potentially be the free guy, but they block him up. He's unable to make a play. And finally, Seattle's able to move the chains.
14-yard carry. The Seahawks had only 19 yards all game before that. Turbin now in the backfield. He gets it, bobbles it, corrals it, and has a nice gain on 1st down as Clinton-Dix made the tackle, a gain of 5. For Aaron Rodgers, he's gone 17 straight home games without a pick. That's since the 2012 season. Well, he's thrown 2 here today, 7 on the road. And the interception is leading to this drive, which on the last play of it, almost putting it on the ground is Turbin. 2nd and 5. First time in Packer territory. Lockett. And Matthews can't bring him down. Perry can't bring him down. And Lockett turned that into something as that play was about to get blown up. A gain of 4.
Clay Matthews almost makes one heck of a play on Ricardo Lockett as he fights through the block and just unable to make the tackle. Lockett got about as much as possible out of that play considering how it started.
Earl Thomas back out on the bench with his offense on the field. Marshawn Lynch in next to Russell Wilson, 12 of 13 in the regular season, picking up a 1st down on 3rd and 1. One-handed catch. Marshawn Lynch is going to fight and pick it up. It looked like on that last lunge. First guy there was Barrington. And Lynch picked up the 1st down. And he had to work to get it.
Well, these are tough yards to come by for Marshawn Lynch because Green Bay, think back to a week ago, they faced the running game of the Dallas Cowboys, but they also had to contend with a receiver like Dez Bryant. Seattle doesn't have that type of guy. Dom Capers has been able to put an extra guy down, whether that's Clinton-Dix or Morgan Burnett. So there's an extra guy in the lane trying to slow down this running game.
Wilson just throws it away. And pressure in his face. And that pressure was Mike Neal. 2nd and 10 with 4.5 to go, opening half.
At the end of this play, Mike Neal able to get to Russell Wilson. The other part of it for Dom Capers is not only trying to slow down Marshawn Lynch, but we all know what Russell Wilson's capable of doing when he gets outside the pocket with running the football.
Russell Wilson 0 for 6 throwing it. Here's Turbin. Nowhere to go. On 2nd down and 10, Turbin picks up 3. Barrington on the tackle. 3rd down and 7 coming up. Barrington, another fine for Ted Thompson. Terrific general manager of the Green Bay Packers in the 7th round out of South Florida. He has come more into the lineup. A.J. Hawk has slid out more. Barrington's been a force. On 3rd down, pass caught, first completion, it's Lockett. And a 1st down at the 21.
Well, the Packers have 2 defensive down linemen, and then they try to work Clay Matthews in the middle. They pick it up nicely, and you see the job that Lockett does, being able to push Sam Shields, create some separation. And finally, Russell Wilson completes a pass, and it's a big one for a 1st down.
They gave forward progress by Lockett to the 20. Shields steps out. 10th play of this drive after the interception by Maxwell. Packers showing blitz. They back out of it. Wilson out to his left. Hasn't carried it today, and now he slides, gets a hit, and there is no flag. Clay Matthews on the stop. It's 2nd down, a gain of 3.
He's trying to work Doug Baldwin over against Tramon Williams, and just not enough of a place for him to go with the football, so he takes off scrambling. I think it's a good non-call.
As does Mike Pereira, who's nodding to your right in our booth with that. Looked a lot worse than it was with the slide. The contact from Matthews, 2nd and 7. Here is Lynch. Nowhere to go. Just stopped. First guy there was Josh Boyd. And one of those big bodies you talk about up front that's played better in stopping the run for Green Bay.
Yeah, really an outstanding job by Josh Boyd. Right here in the middle, he absorbs the double team and he doesn't give up any ground. So he hangs there, and then because of that, Marshawn Lynch has no lane. The other guys rally. That's what you got to do. You got to gang tackle this guy, Marshawn Lynch.
2-minute warning in Seattle. Did you see this coming? 16-0 Green Bay. But Seattle on the move. 3rd down when we come back. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Look at these numbers. 4 interceptions between these 2 quarterbacks today combined. 2 guys who just don't do that in January football. 3rd down and 8. Lynch at the top of the screen. Wilson toward the end zone. That's Shields. And it is intercepted. 3rd interception thrown by Russell Wilson, trying to get it to Jermaine Kearse, and the opportunity for points goes down the drain for Seattle.
Well, Sam Shields plays this perfectly. He's in an outstanding position. He too played wide receiver in college, just like Richard Sherman, and he's got ball skills, and he's able to pull this one in for the interception. Just an outstanding job of turning and playing the ball and then securing the catch.
Russell Wilson has started 1 for 8, 14 yards, 3 picks. Green Bay's ball. 4 turnover first half for Seattle. Now Shields gets in on the fun. Clinton-Dix with 2 picks. And this is as bad a start as Russell Wilson has ever had. Uncharted waters for these Seahawks. Winners of 10 of their last 11, 7 straight. Starting at the 20, Rodgers will complete to Randall Cobb. With Earl Thomas back in the lineup, he is in on the stop, a gain of 7, back to the interception.
Well, if you're Seattle, you like what you saw at the pre-snap. You've got Doug Baldwin in the slot versus press coverage, gives you a lot of field to try to throw the football, but you got to throw it to the corner. Russell Wilson makes a poor throw, but a really nice play by Shields.
Here's a lot of contact, and a flag is thrown. Maxwell with Jordy Nelson. and then Jordy Nelson gets into it with somebody on the sideline for Seattle. And no doubt against Maxwell.
Pass interference. Defense number 41. Grab the receiver's arm, preventing him from catching the ball. Automatic. First down.
That is the 5th defensive penalty against Seattle in less than a half of play. And with a minute and a half left, Troy, and a timeout on the clock, a chance for more points for the Packers up 16.
Well, they've targeted Maxwell a lot in this game, as they did week 1. A lot of jawing going on right now between these two teams. We saw Jordy Nelson line up opposite Sherman early in this first possession to start this game, but since then it's pretty much been Davante Adams over there at the top of the screen.
Now they're going to get a false start against Green Bay.
False start. Offense number 18. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
It was Cobb in the slot. Meanwhile, on the bench is Russell Wilson, and his quarterback rating the first half of this championship game is easy to remember. It's 0.
Yeah. It's not a hard one to remember, not one you like. Hey, we've talked about it for a long time that if it's necessary that Russell Wilson's capable of throwing the football, he may get a chance to prove that in the second half.
Four men on the rush. Rodgers steps up, hits Starks, and that's Wagner, the All-Pro. And the middle linebacker, who's made such a difference coming back after missing 5 with a foot injury, makes the stop, no gain. Here's Rodgers. The tight end on 2nd and 15 picks up 5. KJ Wright on the tackle, and a timeout is taken by Seattle. So they have 2 left, and they want to try to get it back to get on the board before the half. Coming up, it's the Visa halftime report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy are here in Seattle with us. Good to have them along, and they will talk over this first half. Carissa Thompson from New England. There's Jimmy. There's Jim Bruska behind him. Michael Strahan, Howie Long. And they'll get cranking in 48 ticks off the game clock. There's Terry. It's 3rd down and 10. Big chance here for the Seattle defense. Thrown at Richard Sherman 4 times today. 1 completion with a touchdown and the 1 interception early. 3rd and 10. Blitz. Packers pick it up. Rodgers throws, incomplete for Cobb. And Rodgers ends up on the ground, face down. It's 4th down, and Seattle about to get it back.
Well, this happens at the end of the play, and Bruce Irvin actually holds up, and Rodgers goes down. I think he was maybe trying to get a flag out of that play. Here's the same look, essentially, that Russell Wilson had on the interception to Sam Shields, but played very well by Seattle in not allowing Cobb to create any kind of separation on the throw.
Mastay with a punt. Walters waiting for it. High hanging punt, a fair catch by Walters inside the 30. They'll mark him near the 26. Some fans are showing their support for Rainn Wilson's new show on Fox. Backstrom plays a brilliant detective who loves solving crimes but hates people. Don't miss the premiere of Backstrom Thursday after American Idol right here on Fox.
Well, we'll see what Seattle wants to try to do here, Joe, with 35 seconds before the end of the half. They've got a couple timeouts. It hasn't gone well. Are they going to be content, just where they're at right now? They get the ball to start the second half, or see if they can get something going. And I think a lot of it depends on what happens here on first down.
4 first half turnovers for Seattle. It's just something they haven't done under Pete Carrol. Wilson in trouble. He is going to try and run, and there's nowhere to go. And Dom Capers has got to be thrilled with the way his defense has played here in the first half.
Well, they've done an excellent job of corralling Marshawn Lynch, not letting him get going, and then they've been able to match up one-on-one on the outside, and they haven't had to give a lot of help because they're so concerned about slowing down this running game. And then Russell Wilson hasn't been able to beat him with his feet either. So just an excellent start to this game, and then creating the takeaways, which they've been good at this year.
I thought what you said early was really good and still pertinent. You don't have a Des Bryant, you don't have a Calvin Johnson you have to worry about on the outside for Seattle. If you're Green Bay, you like your corners, match up, and sell out to stop the run of Marshawn Lynch.
That's why in this second half, Russell Wilson with good looks. You can't ask for more than one-on-one with any receiver. He's getting them across the board, and he's going to have to beat them with his arm.
And now 2nd and 11 will become 2nd and 16 because of Robert Turbin.
False start. Offense, number 22. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
You think about how the Seahawks started this year with Percy Harvin. They had made that big deal with Minnesota leading into last year. He ended up playing only 8 games. He was traded in October to the Jets, and the leading receiver, receiving yardage-wise for Seattle, Doug Baldwin, 42nd best in the NFL. So they don't have that game breaker on the outside as much as Doug Baldwin doesn't like to hear that. There's 3 men on the rush here on 2nd and 16. This one dropped off for Turbin, and he's wrapped up in the backfield. And a good play by Casey Hayward. And this dominant first half continues for Green Bay.
You know, the other thing they don't have, Joe, is Cooper Helfet, so they don't have a blocking tight end, and that doesn't help them in the running game either.
Guys are getting ready to go. The halftime score. The Packers on the road in Seattle, leading 16-0. These are halftime report coming up after this word from your local Fox station. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. About to start the third quarter here in Seattle. The numbers are shocking. Not from the Green Bay side. You expect that with Aaron Rodgers, but on the right side of it, Seattle, 8 pass yards. We haven't seen Russell Wilson have a game like this since he's come to the NFL. And he and the offense has been overwhelmed by the Packer defense.
Well, they don't have to change anything that they came into the game wanting to do. Of course, there's still a lot of football left, but they have got to be more effective throwing the football than they were.
We are going to check in on the sideline and say hello to our friend Erin Andrews.
Hello, Joe. Well, I just said hello to Pete Carrol, and he said, look, in that first half, so many things went against us. Defensively, the penalties, and offense, we just couldn't get it going. You mentioned Russell Wilson, the last time he's thrown 3 interceptions in a game, 2012, his rookie year. Pete Carrol says his confidence is fine. He has no problem putting him back out there. He says he's gonna score for us, but the biggest thing for Russell is he has to stay patient. This offense needs to stay patient. He said it's going to take a few scores to get us going. We just have to hang with it.
I mean, you think about it, it's just a 16-0 game. Here's Marshawn Lynch to the right. Swarmed, picks up 3, and that's what you're talking about. It's a 16-point game. You have a ton of time here, and there's nothing that has to change scoreboard-wise what you came in trying to do if you're Seattle.
Well, they got to be who they are, and that is running the football, but Green Bay has been good at gang tackling. They've got to play the field position game. They got to win on special teams, and then they've got to be able to get more pressure on Aaron Rodgers within the pocket, and they've not been able to do that.
Here's Lynch. Gets dragged down. That was Peppers who got his right arm on him, and we go down to the Green Bay sideline. Here's Chris Myers.
Joe, a beaming Mike McCarthy coming out of the locker room. I said, kind of a bizarre first half, and he said, no, I told you guys yesterday I felt good. I feel even better. I feel so far today. Aaron Rodgers' calf is not an issue, and the defensive game plan against Russell Wilson has worked to perfection. He does expect more read option, and Russell Wilson trying to run. They may spy him a little more in the second half. Back to Joe and Troy.
All right, Chris, thanks. 3rd down and 3. Here's Lynch. He's brought down short of it. And it's 3 and out to start this second half, and they're calling for somebody to come in from the sideline as Sweezy can't get up. So 3 and out, not exactly the start that the Seahawks had in mind coming out of the locker room, but Ryan is out there to punt. Aaron Rodgers in the offense about to get it right back. And there's Sweezy, number 64, getting bent over backward. Matthews right in the middle of it for Green Bay.
Well, they run it 3 straight times, and they're unable to pick up the 10 yards. Mike Daniels does an excellent job. Clay Matthews finishes them off. They try to pick it up with Lynch on 3rd down and fail to do so. An excellent job to start this second half by this Green Bay defense.
Ryan hits it. Hyde waiting for it from inside the 30. Going to be knocked down at the 39. Good starting field position for the team that's on the road and leading by 16 and trying to stamp their ticket for Super Bowl 49.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Nissan, innovation that excites. By Samsung, from big to small, amazing things happen with Samsung. The next big thing is here. And by Miller Lite. Back in its original look, it's Miller time.
Crowd trying to do their thing as the Packers start up 16 at their own 39. Here's Lacy. Has to stretch it out. Chase to the sideline and a good hit. And there is Earl Thomas. He is not big, Troy. He is 5'10", 202, but man, he can hit.
He packs a load for no bigger than he is. He loves contact. He's got great range. I know in talking with Sean Payton a couple years ago when the Saints played the Seahawks in the playoffs, he said watching him for 3.5 hours, his heels never touched the ground. The guy is active back there, and they're glad to have him back after he left a while in the first half with a shoulder injury.
2nd and 8. Lacy right up the gut. Nada. Gain of a yard, so 3rd and long coming up. It's the NFC Championship game, so the budget gets expanded. We have a noise meter in the budget, but haven't had a reason to use it yet.
They haven't given this crowd a whole lot to cheer about. This defense has created a couple takeaways with interceptions, but it's time for them to start flexing their muscle.
3rd and 7. Extra men on the rush. Pass is bobbled, caught short of a 1st down. Randall Cobb is going to be brought down 1.5 yards shy by Jeremy Lane. And the first possession for Aaron Rodgers is a 3 and out.
Well, I think Rodgers is a little frustrated with himself. If he gives him a little better throw, Cobb's able to catch that on the move. He picks up the 1st down easily. Instead, it was just low enough. Cobb didn't feel comfortable trying to make the catch on the move. He goes to the ground and is short of the 1st down.
Mastay to punt. Ryan Walters waiting. Line drive. Walters has some room. And a decent return out across the 20 of 13 yards. Knocked down by Elliott. 2nd possession, 2nd half. Seattle down 16. 2015 NFL Pro Bowl presented by McDonald's. Fantasy football for real. Michael Irvin, Chris Carter select the teams this Wednesday. Pro Bowl draft, and you can watch it live from Arizona, home of Super Bowl 49 on on Sunday, January 25th. That's next Sunday. Here is Wilson floating one. It's Will Tukuafu. The former San Francisco 49er, good for 8, brought down by Morgan Burnett. Here, Dr. Aikman, is the day for Russell Wilson.
It was a tough first 30 minutes for Russell Wilson. He was under pressure, made some poor throws, and paid the price for him, as we saw Clinton-Dix with that interception. The hit by Clay Matthews. Seahawks are fortunate he got up for that one, but that last interception by Sam Shields, very costly, because it took points that probably would have been on the board with at least a field goal.
Here's Lynch. First down. He's doing his thing out across the 40. How about the fact, Troy, that Russell Wilson has carried the ball 1 time for 2 yards. He led NFL quarterbacks in rushing with 849. That was 16th best in the NFL overall, but he hasn't used his legs one bit.
Well, they've been able to keep him in the pocket, and they haven't kept the ball with him on the read option stuff. And think about a couple of years ago against the 49ers, when Colin Kaepernick went for 180 yards against this defense. They certainly spent a lot of time playing it, but the Seahawks so far have not tried to test them with the read option keeper with Wilson.
4-man rush, pass is caught. Seahawks trying to get it going now. Baldwin, obviously social media is wondering if Russell Wilson was dinged on that hit by Clay Matthews. The answer is no. Aaron Andrews has more on it. Aaron.
Yeah, and of course I followed him over to the sidelines after that hit. I watched the Seattle team physicians talk to him, and Joe, they talked to him for all of 2 seconds. When a player is going through concussion protocol, it's longer, or sometimes they take him back to the locker room.
Here's Lynch. He looks charged up. Inside the 40. And these fans are dying to see beast mode, and he says, feed me.
Yeah, you can bottle this guy up for a while, but he just gets stronger and stronger. And Will Tukuafu, who had a nice catch just a couple plays ago, he kicks out on Julius Peppers and keeps him from being able to make a play on Lynch. An excellent job.
Maybe it's the golden-soled shoes for Lynch. He was either saying feed me or take me out, because he's out. And here's Turbin, the I formation at tailback on first down. 1st and 15.
False start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Again, that's Alvin Bailey, who made 3 starts at left guard this year, 2 at left tackle. And getting the start at right tackle. One of the guys, Troy, they could count on all year was Justin Britt, the rookie 2nd-round pick out of Missouri, who made all 17 starts, but he is inactive today with a bad knee.
Well, they were confident with Alvin Bailey stepping in there at right tackle, but these pre-snap penalties, when you got something going offensively, are just killers.
It's their 3rd false start here at home. Here's Wilson, and that is Matthews. Clay Matthews with a sack. And a flag comes in at the end of it. J.R. Sweezy came in at the end. Matthews with a sack all the way back to the 40. They threw the flag, and we'll see if it's against Sweezy.
Well, the move that he makes on Russell Okung in order to get up the field and get the direct shot on Russell Wilson is really impressive. And you see the shot at the end of that play.
Offense number 64. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is second down.
So it's basically a free shot by Sweezy. They decline the penalty. The result of the play is a sack all the way back to the 40 and a loss of 16 yards. And this guy may not have been voted a defensive captain, but there's nobody more important defensively for Green Bay than Clay Matthews.
Well, think about it. The false start makes it 1st and 15, and then you get into a passing down, and you take the sack then by Clay Matthews.
Here's Lynch. Let him eat up some yards back into Green Bay territory. Just shy of the 48. But the Seahawks have to get beyond the 29 of Green Bay for a first down as Burnett made the stop. Now out to the sideline. They're down to 1 tight end. Luke Wilson is banged up. Tony Moeaki is the only healthy tight end, and he was inactive last week with a calf. Three-man rush. Wilson needs a big one. Flag is down. And Wilson's got a man. Baldwin with a catch inside the 20. But a flag is down, and the Packers indicate it's against Seattle. But no early sign from the officiating crew.
Illegal use of the hands to the face, defense number 52. This penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
So it's against Green Bay, and it's 29 yards on 3rd and 19.
Dayton Jones here in the middle is essentially a spy on Russell Wilson, so Packers only have a two-man rush. Jones is trying to keep Wilson in the pocket. It gives him a ton of time to try to find then Doug Baldwin for this first down. They walk Clay Matthews out. More of a prevent style defense, but with time to find the receiver, he does.
That didn't get any points, but that might be the biggest completion of this game for Seattle. 29 yards on 3rd and 19. Here's Lynch. Well played. Perry closing down on it, made the stop, a gain of 2.
When you think about what Seattle just overcame, in order to keep this drive going and put themselves right now in a position to come away with some points.
And you don't think about this early in the game, but this is still just a 2-score game. There's Darrell Bevell. He was on the Green Bay staff with Brett Favre at quarterback from 2000 to 2005, the offensive coordinator here. Tukuafu can't make the block, and Perry comes in and makes the play. And the fullback Tukuafu whiffed, a loss of 2. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, Tukuafu, who is a defensive player, he is good at lead blocking as long as he's got a straight shot on somebody, but when he's got to move within that path, it becomes a little bit more challenging. He's a 280-pound guy, and Nick Perry's able to navigate him, make a nice play.
3rd down, the numbers last week perfect. There's 3 touchdown passes on 3rd down today, 2 for 6, with 2 interceptions. Blitz. Wilson floating it for Lynch. Pass incomplete. Broken up downfield by Barrington. And a good defensive play by the second-year pro Sam Barrington.
Well, Sam Barrington had to navigate a little bit of traffic, and they get the one-on-one with Marshawn Lynch. Thought it was a pretty good throw there by Russell Wilson, and it was, and I couldn't tell if Barrington got a hand on the ball or not, but one that sure looked like Lynch might have been able to catch.
And Barrington fought it to take it out. A 38-yard try for the first points of the day from Hauschka. And they're going to fake it. Ryan going to float it for the touchdown. Seattle back in it. Gary Gilliam, a rookie, for the touchdown.
Gilliam's right here. He's eligible. You're going to see they put A.J. Hawk in a bind. He's got to make a decision as to whether or not to come up and make a play on the run. And once he does, it opens Gilliam up for the touchdown. And he's got to make the catch.
That had to feel like an eternity for that ball to come down. The lobbed throw from Ryan. You had that one, didn't you? Didn't you, Vegas? First touchdown throw for Seattle doesn't come from Wilson. It comes from John Ryan. And the Seahawks are in it in the championship game.
Game is sponsored by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network.
A special teams play gets Seattle on the board. It's a 16-7 game, and there he is. Biggest moment of his life, Gary Gilliam First career catch, the rookie free agent out of Penn State, and he's all smiles. What a moment.
He was showing everybody how easy it was over there on the sidelines. He's the envy of every offensive lineman in the league right now.
John Ryan, by the way, now in his career is 3 for 3 throwing it for 77 yards and a touchdown. And the Packers lead is now 9. And the drive will start at the 20. John Ryan, he's got the touchdown pass. It's getting fun here in Seattle in the NFC Championship game. First down, pass caught Nelson, and Jordy Nelson's got a first down. Let's go back to the fake.
What you're going to see is John Ryan comes out, and A.J. Hawk has to make a decision. Is he going to come up and try to make a play on him? He comes up. Garrett Gilliam then is available to make the catch. The hardest part is then making the catch, but he did it. But Seattle, at one point, 2nd down and 30, and then 3rd and 19, they convert. 4th and 10, fake field goal. So they made the plays they had to make, and what a call by Pete Carrol. If they don't convert there, they really take all the life right out of this football team.
There you go. There you go. There's plenty of life now. Here's Cobb. Wrapped up and thrown to the ground by Lane. And with under 4 to go, 3rd quarter, a gain of 2. Jeremy with a good tackle. Can't get the screen for Lacey. And Rodgers is hurt.
Looks like that calf might have grabbed on him as he was turning it loose. He didn't get hit, Joe. As you're going to see as he drops back, he's going to make a throw, and
right ankle.
Yeah, you know what? There was that calf. The calf is the left calf, but the right ankle, he kind of rolls it.
Third down and 8. Rodgers is brought down from behind. A loss of 7. Avril and Irvin were in there, and it's 4th down.
An excellent job by Cliff Avril. They run a twist up front, and then as he comes up the middle, you're just not going to run away from him, and Aaron Rodgers has no opportunity. Fortunately, he even hangs on to the ball as he switches hands and tucks it in his left arm. But good coverage there by the secondary, and a good stop by this defense.
Line drive, punt. Walters a chance to run. Looking for a couple of blocks, and it's well covered downfield. Jared Bush on the stop, a return of 6 yards by Walters. It's got a different feel to it, doesn't it? 16-7, Pack on top. 51-degree day, now raining. 16-mile-per-hour wind. It's working its way into the face of the Seahawks as they take over down by 9. Luke Wilson back in there. And a drop by Russell Wilson. Burnett makes the stop. Wilson's had to corral some not so great snaps in the shotgun. This one will take a look, and again, it's out wide to his right. We've seen that a lot from Max Unger.
Yeah, we have, and what makes it difficult on this play is Russell Wilson's trying to make the catch and then turn and hand off to his left and do it all very quickly so that the back doesn't get past him, and hard to do. Unfortunately, it came right back to him.
Former Pro Bowler is Unger. Better snap here. And the pass is low but caught, but minimal gain on second down as Baldwin makes the catch. A gain of 3. Watch every NFL playoff game and Super Bowl 49 live on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Here's another third down and a chance for this Green Bay defense to make a stop.
You know, you talk about the rain coming down. There's been moisture throughout this game off and on, and Russell Wilson at times throws the ball well when it's wet, and at times he doesn't. And that was one of those throws that just got away from him.
Lynch in motion. Wilson protected. And the pass dropped by Luke Wilson. So good work by this Green Bay defense as they force a 3-and-out. Micah Hyde was there in coverage.
Really doing an excellent job in coverage. Seattle thinking they were going to be able to get something down the field, but the Packers pick it up, and Russell Wilson forced to come underneath. There was just nothing there, even if Luke Wilson catches the ball.
So Ryan coming off that thrill of a touchdown pass into punt. And Hyde with a fair catch. And so with the Green Bay offense back to work, we'll welcome you inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe, that's Troy, and that was good work by the Green Bay defense because the momentum had completely turned after the fake field goal and then the work by the Seattle defense.
Well, it was important for them, and really going back to the previous possession when they had Seattle on the ropes. You know, they get the false start, they get the sack by Clay Matthews, and yet Seattle's able to convert. The crowd got back into this ball game, and then their next defensive possession, a really nice job of getting off the field and giving the ball back to this offense.
Hey, we're pushing, right?
Here's Lacey left side. Chancellor throws him to the ground. He was down. Ball came out. He was clearly down. And on first down, a carry of 5 yards to go on the sideline. Russell Wilson doing his best to keep guys pumped up. He's gone 82 consecutive games where his team has at least at some point had the lead. Back to his days at NC State. All of his games at Wisconsin, all of his games with Seattle. Different story today. Second and 5, Lacey breaks one tackle and picks up a first down. And with that carry, the third quarter will come to an end. Avril on the tackle, but Eddie Lacy broke one and then spun his way to a first down. Second-year pro's a good one. Eddie Lacy. Let's go to the fourth. Back after this from your local Fox station. This half, the Packers with just 2 first downs, 38 yards. They start the fourth quarter with a first down and a lead of 9. Nelson and Sherman at the bottom. Here's Starks. Left side, a lot of room. And James Starks is across the 35, across the 40. Sherman gets to him, and a big carry by James Starks. Quiets the crowd. He carried it for 32. And Richard Sherman, who was in on the stop, is injured on the sideline as he'll head back in.
Well, watch the left tackle, Bakhtiari, and then Josh Sitton, their left guard, and the job that is done, creating the lane, and then James Starks makes somebody miss. And right now, all Seahawks fans want to know what the status is of Richard Sherman as he comes in clutching his hand. But a couple big runs, a nice run by Eddie Lacy on second down, making Michael Bennett miss to make it first down, and a heck of a run right there by Eddie Lacy.
32 yards, the longest.
James Starks.
By Starks, and now with a crowd noise, Balaga, his second false start.
False start, right tackle. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
32-yarder, Troy, the longest play by either team in this game, and it belongs to Starks, who stepped front and center and became a star in that 2010 postseason when the Packers won Super Bowl 45.
Yeah, and we talked about last week when he came out of the game because of asthma. And Mike McCarthy, very fortunate he's got a guy like James Starks who can come in. But Richard Sherman right now, he's on the field. That left arm, he's clutching, grabbing his hand, and he is in a lot of pain right now.
Matched up on Adams. Here's Lacey now left side. And Lacey is brought to the ground with a gain of 5. Bobby Wagner on the tackle. This is a bit earlier with that little twist to the right ankle, rolling it. Appears to be okay. Had to go with a tear in his left calf. Now Lacey struggling on the sideline. 2nd and 10. Here's Starks again. Avril on the tackle to the 41, a gain of 3.
Well, you take a look at Richard Sherman. This time they line up Jordy Nelson opposite him. He's not using his left arm, Joe, and very careful with it. I don't know if the Packers are aware of it. I don't even know if Jordy Nelson is aware of it. You still got to be careful with a guy like him, but you got an injured guy, as good as he is, you take a shot at him.
Third and 7.
Pocket. Where do you go? Where do you go?
Blitz, quick throw, pass is caught. That's Rodgers. And we'll see where they mark him. Brought down right at the first down marker. They're going to put it at the 33. And it's a first down. A big one to the rookie, Richard Rodgers.
Well, really big. He's made a couple nice catches now in this game. I know Aaron Rodgers says he may have the best hands on the team. Rodgers sticks it right on him, but a big first down on 3rd and long.
And a good spot according to that unofficial yellow line.
Where do you go? Triple 5-4, triple. Where do you go?
Here's Starks. Got around 1 tackle, takes it to the 30, inches inside, a gain of 3. Lane on the tackle.
Tell you, the Packers, you know, they come out here in this second half and weren't really getting a lot going, but on this drive, of course, you got to convert on 3rd down, which they do to Richard Rodgers, but heavy dose of running right now on this possession, and they've done a nice job with it.
Lacey was bothered with a bad knee during the week, had the asthma last week on the sideline. But as you said, they've got Starks who fills in well. 2nd and 7.
Now they go with Randall Cobb to start in the backfield.
Rodgers looked left, now out to his right. Here's Starks down the sideline, incomplete. And covered by KJ Wright. And we didn't see Aaron Rodgers do a lot of that last week, rolling, trying to hit somebody on the run. He's feeling a lot better.
That's the best I've seen him move in 3 weeks.
That is a first throw out of the pocket all day.
That's that scramble drill. They had an opportunity. Even James Starks knows that when Rodgers gets outside the pocket, try to go deep, give him a place to create a big play. Just unable to haul it in.
3rd and 7. Rodgers in trouble, throws it away. Under heavy pressure from Bruce Irvin. It's 4th down, and Mason Crosby will come on to attempt a 48-yard field goal and try for his 15th straight in the postseason. 3 for 3 today, 18, then 19, then 40. This guy who struggled in 2012 has rebounded in a big way. He is good again. Mason Crosby with 3 more big points put up on the scoreboard. He is 4 for 4. Got it inside the left upright. as the Packers extend their lead. It's 12. 3 points put up on the field goal by Crosby, who's now made 15 straight during the postseason. 10-play drive, 55 rushing yards on the drive, and they are looking at Richard Sherman on the sideline, and that left arm. Baldwin will carry it out. Well covered. And it's been a good special teams day really for both sides in this game. First guy there was Elliott. So they check on Sherman. And Seattle on the field offensively down 12. Aerial coverage provided by Nationwide as the Seahawks take over down by 12. Here's one off the hands of Luke Wilson, the tight end. Russell Wilson has not been sharp, but he's going to need some more help on the other end, as that one was off the hand of the Seattle tight end Luke Wilson.
Just a little bit out in front of him, and a tough catch for him to try to put that on him a little bit. But right now, obviously, they're not only working against the Green Bay Packers, they're working against the clock. They've got to get out of their comfort zone and be able to concentrate on running the football. Still can mix it in, but they've got to be able to make some plays in the passing game, and they've just had a hard time doing it with Russell Wilson with just 6 completions on the day.
Here's one to Wilson. The tight end hangs on here, but knocked out by Barrington. A gain of just 3. NFL honors find out who will take home this year's most prestigious awards, hosted by Seth Meyers the night before the Super Bowl. Plus, the Man of the Year presented by Nationwide will be revealed as 3 finalists all vie for the game's most distinguished award. Aaron Rodgers very active. Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer, and Russell Wilson visits the local children's hospital every Tuesday.
Both of these guys do an outstanding job in their communities, as so many other players do around the league.
3rd down and 7. Wilson needs one here. Pass is caught. Good catch. And a big first down by Lockett, and that was all Lockett.
Yeah, that was, because that one was out in front of him too, and not an easy catch to make. Not only is he able to make the catch, but he's able to keep his feet and run with it after he does. Just an excellent job. I talked about it a little bit earlier. You just don't know how much the weather's affecting some of these throws, and they've been over there talking to Richard Sherman throughout this time since he came off the field on that last defensive possession, and I don't know what his status is as far as the injury, but he is in a lot of pain.
No report yet from Seattle. Here's Lynch, got a first down out to the 39-yard line. A 13-yard carry by Marshawn Lynch, brought down by Barrington.
Well, that's something that nobody really looks forward to doing. And usually when you're on defense, you're the one initiating the contact. So many times Marshawn Lynch is the one.
Here's Wilson. One of the few times we've seen him take off. Matthews brings him down. The only touchdown pass in this game for Seattle came from the punter John Ryan. First punter to ever throw a touchdown pass in a postseason game. And here's that last carry of 4 yards by Russell Wilson.
Well, this time Clay Matthews, he's essentially got his eyes on Russell Wilson. He's dropping back, but his eyes are on Wilson. If he takes off running, he's going to be there to make a play in the spy position. We've seen him do it with a few different players here defensively.
This one is floated for Baldwin, and he dropped it. Tried to run before he secured the catch. He had Perry out there and a chance for a nice gain. Pretty good throw by Wilson, 3rd and 6.
That was an excellent design, because they start with Baldwin like he's going to run a reverse, and Tramon Williams, who's in coverage, he goes across the field with him, and then all of a sudden Nick Perry has to try to pick him up. So it would have been an excellent play for Seattle if he's able to get the ball, and really nobody out there in front of him. Would have been a pretty good game.
3rd down and 6. Here's Lynch on the handoff, and Marshawn Lynch is going to do it. 11 yards, and he's over 100 for the day, and this is all determination by number 24.
Joe, when they first stood him up, it was 3rd and 6. He was about 1 yard short of the first down, and then he winds up picking it up by about 6 yards.
They fake it. Wilson's protected. Not anymore. And Wilson is brought down. Taking forever back there to let it loose, and Morgan Burnett is there for the sack, a loss of 4.
That was good coverage as far as where he initially was wanting to go with the football. He's got the square in on the backside, as you're going to see right here as it comes into your screen. But he doesn't look backside, but you can't take a sack there. You got to get the ball out of your hands. Just a big mistake by Russell Wilson.
2nd and 14. Blitz off the edge. Wilson throws over the middle, nearly picked. And that could have been number 3 on the day for Clinton-Dix. And that would have ended the day because he was wide open on his way into the end zone.
Well, they go man-to-man coverage, and then they essentially have one free defender, and the free defender was Clinton-Dix. And so he drops down. He's reading the quarterback. He reads it beautifully. He's got a chance to make an easy interception, which would have been his 3rd on the day.
So now from midfield, another big 3rd down. And it's 3rd and 14 with the rain falling again. Wilson gets hit, pass is broken up. It's 4th down. Casey Hayward defending for Green Bay. And the punt team comes on for Seattle.
You're going to see the pressure off the edge by Clay Matthews and Mike Neal. An excellent coverage by this secondary of the Green Bay Packers.
Hayward downfield. Russell Wilson was begging to stay on the field, but on 4th down, the punt from Ryan. A fair catch called for by Micah Hyde inside the 15. Packers will have it under 7 to go in Seattle. Up by 12.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
For the 12th man. They're going to have to crank it up here for Seattle on the field defensively. Sherman holding that left arm. Green Bay up by 12. Starting at the 13. Word from the sideline is Eddie Lacy is fine health-wise, but they start this drive with Starks. And over the right side, Starks is going to pick up a yard. We'll go down to the field and Aaron Andrews.
And Joe, when I watched Richard Sherman on the sideline, he was surrounded by team physicians and athletic training staff. They were feeling his hand, his wrist, and the bicep area. He wasn't given any further medical attention and no discussion about him coming off the field whatsoever. He sat there by himself, just grimacing in pain, grabbed his helmet, went back on the field.
2nd and 9. Starks again right up the gut. KJ Wright on the tackle. 3rd down coming up. And again, this defense for Seattle, the role that they came in on. Overall, the team had won 7 straight, and the opponents were averaging 8 points per game. But Green Bay's been better than the Seattle defense so far today.
A big 3rd down right here for Seattle. They've got to make a stop if they're going to have any chance in coming back in this game.
3rd and 5.
Rock. Ready, go. Ready, go.
Pass to Corliss, broken up. 4th down. with KJ Wright in coverage. First time we've said Quarles's name all day, and Rodgers walks away shaking his head.
Yeah, well, that was huge. With just a little over 5 minutes to play in this game, they're able to force a 3 and out, not only make the stop, but then with the incompletion, the clock stops. We'll give the ball back to Seattle, and they're going to have to create some big plays and come away with a touchdown quickly to still have time to have a chance to win.
Maste has had an up and down year. They need a good punt out of number 8 with Walters waiting. Line drive. Walters on the move. Well covered downfield. Devon House there to make the stop, and so Seattle down by 12 gets it just on their side of midfield. About to go back to work. Dom Capers has been around the block a few times. He's a defensive coordinator for Mike McCarthy. His group has played great. Talks about getting pressure, creating turnovers, and he worries about the opposition's quarterback rating. Gotta like what he's seen so far. Wilson, pass is picked off. That's Burnett, and he will slide down off the hands of Jermaine Kearse. And a deflection for the interception. And another turnover for the Seattle offense, and a takeaway for this Green Bay defense.
Jermaine Kearse, who has made so many big plays, has an opportunity to make a pretty routine play here. A perfectly thrown ball by Russell Wilson. He's unable to make it. The ball's deflected. Morgan Burnett is right there to make a play off the deflection. That's been the point, really, in the story in this game, has been Seattle's inability to move the football, the takeaways that this Green Bay Packer defense has created, and another big one right there.
Career high 4 interceptions thrown by Russell Wilson. And to finish with Capers, pressure, he's had it. Turnovers that forced him. Opposition's quarterback rating, Russell Wilson came in with the highest quarterback rating in postseason history at 109.6. His quarterback rating right now is under 10. Suffocating defense for Dom Capers' group.
Ready, go.
There's Lacy. And Lacy wrapped up in the backfield. First guy there was Bennett. A loss of 4 and a timeout taken by Seattle. Jermaine Kearse has been the target on all 4 interceptions that Russell Wilson has thrown in this game.
Well, we know Russell Wilson has not played well. He's made some poor decisions. He's had some poor passes. That was not one of them.
Tonight on CBS, it's the AFC Championship game. Then next Sunday, it's the Pro Bowl on ESPN. And on Sunday, February 1st, Super Bowl 49 on NBC. Later on, it will be Andrew Luck trying to get to his first Super Bowl. And Tom Brady trying to get to his 6th. Here's the interception. Good throw. The deflection, the pick. And the rough day for Russell Wilson continues. And Kearse didn't help him there. 2nd and 14.
Ready, go.
Still time left in this game. It's Lacy bottled up. Bennett is in there. And we'll see, and they do. The Seahawks take their 2nd timeout. And this game is far from over. The most talked about fighter in the UFC is fighting tonight on Fox Sports 1.
I don't just knock them out, I pick the round. I am the notorious Conor McGregor. And after the AFC Championship, turn to Fox Sports 1 to watch me destroy the little angry German Dennis Siever.
And there's a matchup tonight on Fox Sports 1 at 10 Eastern after the Patriots and the Colts.
Joe, I'd be real surprised here if Mike McCarthy calls for a pass and risks the pass being incompleted and stopping the clock. 3rd and 16, not likely. They'll pick up the first down. Maybe they try a screen pass, something underneath. If they don't hand it off, I expect them to, but if they don't, I would expect Aaron Rodgers to go with a high percentage completion.
Ready, go. Ready, go.
They do hand it off, and it's Lacy. Broke one tackle. It'll be 4th down. How about the day for Morgan Burnett? Dom Capers will tell you he's had by far his best year. The 5th-year pro out of Georgia Tech. 8 tackles, 2 sacks, an interception, and a fumble return. That's pretty good.
Well, Joe, hey, we came into this game talking about the improved defensive play of the Green Bay Packers, especially in run defense and how well they've played in the second half of the season. And that has been the story. This is a Green Bay Packer offense that has been held to under 200 yards of total offense. They've turned the ball over twice, but the Packers defense has matched whatever Seattle's defense has thrown out there, and they've been the difference in this game.
Seahawks hang on to their timeout. The punt by Maste heads right out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. We'll keep it right here. Under 4 minutes to play. Still within reach for Seattle as they mark this one at the 31. The turnovers, killer. 5 of them. And the rookie Clinton-Dix has 2 picks. Brad Jones forced one on a kick return by Baldwin. There's number 2 for Clinton-Dix. Here's Shields in the end zone before the half. And the last time the Seahawks had it, the deflection off the hands of Kearse into the waiting arms of Morgan Burnett, who wisely went to the ground. Here's Lynch. Out near the 45. Casey Hayward on the stop.
A lot of times teams will run the ball or run a high percentage pass to kind of kick things off going to the no huddle. I think the Packers are happy with that one.
Wilson slings it past Cobb. Baldwin makes a move. Baldwin trying to get to the sideline, cannot. Wrapped up at the 35 with a 1st down for Seattle. 20-yard pickup.
Baldwin pushes up the field. He comes back to the quarterback, and Russell puts it on him, and then you can't let him get yardage after the catch.
Here's one toward the end zone down the sideline, and a lot of tugging as Kearse was the intended target with Williams in coverage. Clock stops with 3:02 to go.
Yeah, I'm like you, Joe. It looked to me like there was quite a bit of tugging and pulling going on by Jermaine Kearse on that route.
Seahawks came in having won 8 straight home playoff games. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, trying to go back to the Super Bowl. Become the first team to win back-to-back since the Patriots in 03 and 04. They have a long way to go. 2nd and 10. This one floated. That's Lynch. Pass is caught. Lynch is going to go for the touchdown. And we'll check the feet and make sure he stayed in, as the officials did, looking at each other. That's close.
Yeah, I think that, right there, Joe, you see that the right foot looks like it hits the line.
Previous play will go under review.
And that
Ruling
one
on the
clearly.
field was touchdown.
You're going to see Sam Barrington here. He comes underneath, and as soon as he does, it opens up the throwing lane and the separation for Marshawn Lynch to make the play.
It may not be a touchdown, but the Seahawks have life. It's a touchdown, so they review it. We'll get the call when we come back. Both teams expect the touchdown to be overturned. It's a scoring review. Offense and defense both out there. The question then is, where's the ball going to be placed? Clearly out there if that first step isn't out. We'll get the call from Tony Correnti. His group has done a good job in this game after some controversial calls during the playoffs.
After reviewing the play, the runner stepped out of bounds with the ball at the 9-yard line. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2:57. 2:57, and the clock will start Snap of the ball.
Nonetheless, an impressive little touch throw from Russell Wilson, and the catch and run by Lynch to take it to the 9. To bring up 1st and goal. Lynch will carry it. Peppers first guy to get his hands on him to the 5. And the Seahawks have to hurry it up. To make the case of the touchdown, it stood. You could kick it deep. You got a timeout, the 2-minute warning. With the overturn, different situation. Wilson going to try and do it. Russell Wilson cannot get in. Clinton-Dix made the stop at the 1, and we're under 2.5 to go.
And with each one of those runs, then valuable time being taken off the clock, Sam Barrington comes in and just sticks Russell Wilson, keeps him from scoring the touchdown.
From the 1, it's 3rd and goal. Here's Wilson keeping it for the touchdown. With 2:09 to go, and they get the touchdown outside of the 2-minute warning.
Well, they fake the handoff there to Marshawn Lynch. They're blocking on the outside. An easy score for Russell Wilson, and now they're going to hope that they can get the ball back.
He had 6 rushing touchdowns during the regular season. 2:09 left. That makes it a 5-point game. Is it too little, too late? And what's the approach with the special teams coach Brian Schneider and the head coach Pete Carrol here with 2:09 left? So you've got the 2-minute warning coming and a timeout remaining. We'll see what Carrol wants to do in the way of an onside kick or kick it deep.
Well, I think they're going to go with the onside kick here, Joe, knowing that their defense has to make a stop, and they got to make a stop quickly.
Well, special teams has already made an impression in this game. For John Ryan, the touchdown pass, and the first punter to ever throw a touchdown pass in postseason history, and the first Canadian to throw a touchdown pass in a postseason game in 22 years since Mark Rippon did it. That'll make Jay and Dan happy on Fox Sports Live.
Well, you see the big plays on that drive, taking less than 2 minutes off the clock. They start that drive with a handoff to Marshawn Lynch. They get the matchup that they had earlier in the game, and they couldn't connect. But they get it to Marshawn Lynch on the big play, which set up the score.
Hauschka and the Seahawks 1 for 4 in his career on onside kicks. None bigger than this. Good kick up into the air. It is loose and recovered by Seattle. Chris Matthews. Brandon Bostic had a chance at it, and he is lit up by Sean Slocum back on the sideline. Bostic couldn't. Matthews could.
Yeah, Bostic, they got the hands team out there. Bostic gets the bounce, a nice bounce. He tries to get it at its high point, just unable to make the play as a tight end. Because the onside kick hits the ground, you can't ask for the fair catch. You got to field it. He's unable to make a play on it. An outstanding job by the Seahawks being able to recover it after Bostic just unable to make the play.
Big day for the Seahawks special teams and Coach Brian Schneider, who coached special teams at USC with Pete Carrol. Here's Wilson keeping it. Russell Wilson got a first down out of bounds near the 35. Bostic has to hope on the sideline as he lives with a missed chance on that onside kick.
Yeah, and by Russell Wilson being able to get out of bounds, you see 2:01 on the clock. They're still going to get the stoppage at the 2-minute warning as we see the missed opportunity by Bostic. And Russell Wilson scored the touchdown on the keeper, and a nice play there with the keeper too.
Here's Lynch now. Burnett drags him down, and we are at the 2-minute warning, 1:56 to go. Who's going to the Super Bowl? Life for the Seahawks. They have trailed throughout, down by 5 with a chance here at home. A conference championship game, the largest halftime deficit overcome. 15 points by the Colts and Peyton Manning in 06 over New England. This was a 16-0 game at the half. Comeback history. He's had 14 game-winning drives and 27 chances. Third-year pro. Wilson fires, pass, caught. Luke Wilson. And Wilson's got a first down inside the 25. Green Bay with all 3 of their timeouts. And they have to start thinking about it. Here's Lynch. Lynch! Marshawn Lynch! Beast mode! Touchdown!
James Carpenter, you watch them double team the tackle and then work up to Clay Matthews. That creates the lane, and the blocking down the field by Lockett. With 1 timeout and plenty of time, the Seahawks did not have to divert from what they wanted to do offensively. They hand the ball to Lynch. Just an excellent job of finishing off that drive after recovering the onside kick.
And now trying to finish this off with a 2-point conversion to make it a 3-point game. There's John Schneider, the general manager of the Seahawks. First lead of the game with 1:25 left. Wilson out to his right. In big trouble. Up for grabs. And caught by Luke Wilson.
Clinton-Dix does not make a play on this ball. He's right there in position. The ball was in the air for what seemed like 8 seconds. And he's there to be able to knock it down, and yet he makes no play on the ball whatsoever. And Luke Wilson comes down with the catch. He's made some big plays here down the stretch last week in the playoff win against Carolina, here once again today. And John Schneider, the general manager and the architect of putting together this team. It is amazing what we have watched here in just the last couple of minutes.
What we've watched is 15 points put up by Seattle in 44 seconds. Bostic couldn't come down with the onside kick try. Here it is. Barely got his hands on it. And there to recover for Seattle, Chris Matthews. And this booth is shaking. This stadium is shaking in the loudest venue in the NFL. But 1:25, 3 timeouts left for Aaron Rodgers to try and do something about this score. The return by Hyde. Out to the 22. Remember the second and third drives by Green Bay. They both ended at the 1-yard line when they had to settle for field goals instead of punching it in. The difference in the game, and now we look at the comeback history for Aaron Rodgers. He's done it 12 times. None bigger than this.
Well, how big is that two-point conversion by Seattle? As you said, Joe, 1 minute and 19 seconds to play, 3 timeouts, lots of time for Aaron Rodgers. And Richard Sherman still playing with one arm.
Rodgers, pass caught. That's Jordy Nelson. And that will quiet this crowd and get the ball out across the 35-yard line. They've got all 3 timeouts. Mason Crosby, as we showed you, career-long 58. That would mean getting it to the 40. But it's a gusty day. Pass is caught. That's Cobb. And Cobb has taken it inside Seattle territory.
And I like what Green Bay's doing. A lot of teams would call timeout immediately because they've got 3 to burn. They've got Seattle on the ropes, and Aaron Rodgers is applying the pressure.
Rodgers out to his right. Plenty of room in front of him. And he gimps his way inside the 40, limping all the way to the sideline. And they are right now right on the edge of field goal range as it is, already for Mason Crosby.
Really a good job. Rodgers does his best he can to get down the field, pick up as much yardage, get out of bounds. 35 seconds now. Anything completed in play, he's going to start using timeouts. But with 3 timeouts to burn, he can work the entire field.
First down. Just trying to dump it to Eddie Lacy, and he wasn't looking for it.
Well, that's another example right there. Aaron Rodgers knowing that he just can't take off and run. He's trying to get the ball to Eddie Lacy. Lacy thought he was going to keep it and run himself. If he was healthy, boy, there was a lot of open field that he would normally take.
It would be a 54-yard try from here. Blitz. Rodgers sideline, not on the same page with Rodgers, the tight end. Now it's 3rd down and 10. And I know you want the touchdown and the win here, but you got to start thinking about getting a chunk of yardage to make it easier on Crosby on a windy, rainy day in Seattle. There's no gimme here coming up from this spot.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that he's going to try to pick up the first down somewhere 10 to 15 yards, not take a shot deep, but if it's not there for the first down, try to pick up as much as he can to help on the field goal attempt.
Blitz, pressure, Rodgers steps up, throws, he's got Nelson, and Nelson gets a little bit of yardage to the 31. And now it's all going to come down to Mason Crosby. Rodgers slow to get up. Richard Sherman wincing in pain as he will either come to the sideline or go to the huddle. It'll be 4th down, and this group of Brett Good, Tim Mastay, and Mason Crosby, who has hit 15 straight postseason field goals, will come on to try and tie it. It'll be a 48-yard attempt. He's already hit from 48 in this game, but it was on the other end of the field. Swirling wind. "19 seconds left. Seattle with a timeout.
We'll see if Pete Carrol wants to try to ice him with the 1 timeout left.
Good snap, good hold. Crosby is good. And this game is tied. Troy, you and I did a lot of Packer games back in 2012, and Mason Crosby had the most difficult year of his career. It voided a longer-term contract. He came back. He had a good year last year. He's had a great year this year, and credit Mike McCarthy with sticking with this now 8-year pro out of Colorado. I mean, Mason Crosby has been nothing but sure-footed, and this ball was nearly tipped as Kevin Williams got that big left hand up. But how about Crosby and how he has bounced back personally in his career?
Well, there's a lot of pressure on him right there to make that kick, and he delivered. A little surprised that Green Bay called the timeout, you know, when they did, and didn't let the clock run down. 14 seconds on the clock. They could have had it to where that would have been the last play of regulation.
But because of that heave by Russell Wilson on the two-point try that took forever to come down into the arms of Luke Wilson, this game's a tie game instead of basically being over.
Well, I'm still not sure how Clinton-Dix wasn't able to make a play on that ball.
So 14 seconds remain. Squib kick. And this isn't going anywhere as Lemuel Jean-Pierre will take a knee. And this looks like overtime with 11 seconds left and only one timeout for Russell Wilson here in this NFC Championship game. What a game.
Are you kidding me? I mean, how the game has gotten to where we're at today, or right now, with 11 seconds left, as improbable as they come.
These two teams, by the way, have played a playoff overtime game. It happened at Lambeau. It was back in the 2003 season. They also met in 07. Remember this moment at Lambeau Field?
Heads is called. Seattle has won the toss.
We won the ball, we're going to score.
The team that scored was Green Bay because of an interception return for a touchdown by Al Harris. Brett Favre beat.
There is no penalty for illegal substitution for 12 players on the defense, as there were 11 players. This is the end of regulation.
So they recounted only 11 out there. We are through regulation officially. Brett Favre beat Seattle at Lambeau in the 2007 season. Mike Pereira is with us. Thankfully, Mike, we haven't had any crazy rulings yet as we had in Dallas, as we had last week. But let's talk about the overtime rules in the postseason.
Yeah, I've been kind of quiet today, but
okay.
Obviously it's a change here in the postseason because you have to have a winner. The overtime procedure in the regular season means you play one extra quarter. You treat it like a fourth quarter. Now you start another game. Each team gets 3 timeouts. You still have the situation where if the team that first possesses the ball kicks a field goal only, then the other team gets the opportunity to possess. But if they score a touchdown or there is a safety, the game is over. But essentially, you're going to start a new game now, and it will be in the hands of the replay official the whole time too. No challenges.
The only guy that goes out there for Seattle is Tavares Jackson. So he must be their good luck charm. Looking at Burnett and Rodgers and Cobb and Nelson. Now John Ryan and Steven Hauschka.
We'll review the basic rules. Both teams will be provided an opportunity to possess the ball a minimum of 1 time. After that first possession, the first team to score will win the game unless the first possession results in a touchdown. If we go through an entire period, we will continue to play football as if a regular game and start the second quarter. Both teams will be allotted 3 timeouts instead of the normal 2, and all replay reviews will come from the replay booth. Green Bay, as a visitor, you call. Green Bay calls tails. It is heads. Seattle wins the toss.
Seattle wins the toss and they will receive. Are they going back to defend their title? Are the Packers going to the Super Bowl? It's overtime in Seattle. Crazy day. What a game. Tied at 22. Seahawks will start this overtime with a football. This is just it's an honor to be a part of this game, to watch this battle between these two teams. Russell Wilson, who's about to get the ball and go to work, threw his 4th interception at 5:04. Green Bay had the ball in a 12-point lead. And the Wilson touchdown run at 2:09. The Lynch touchdown run. The man who just kicked it away, Crosby, tied it with 14 seconds left on a 48-yarder. Here's Baldwin. Baldwin hit around the 10. Well played downfield by the special teams of Green Bay. Chris Banjo, the first guy downfield. And as you look at these numbers in championship overtime games in the NFC, Giants beating the 49ers, the Saints and Vikings, the Giants and the Packers. We were there on that cold night at Lambeau. Falcons and the Vikings. Realize Russell Wilson, who is in his 3rd year, is 9-0 in his career against Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. He's got 1 more year left on his rookie deal. He'll cash in at the end of this season, starting at the 13th. No surprise they started with Lynch, and a good play by Burnett, closing down to make the stop, a gain of 3.
Well, no surprise at all that they're on first down. They do give the ball to Marshawn Lynch because they got him going, there at the end, and he was feeling it. And so they can get back into normal game mode and see if they're able to keep that running game going. I like what they did with Russell Wilson on some of the read option keepers. I'm sure we'll see some of that here on this possession as well.
He keeps it here. He floats it. Pass is caught for a first down by Baldwin. Gain of 10.
Well, good play action there. They bring Doug Baldwin across from the other side of the formation. They fake the handoff. He's in the flat, and they're able to pick up the first down. Hey, boy, this defense, we talked about how good they had been throughout this game, and when they had to make the stops, they just were unable to do it there to end the time in regulation.
Here's Lynch. Starts and stops. Remember, Seattle wins the game if they score a touchdown with this possession. If they don't, Green Bay will get the ball. Even if Seattle kicks a field goal, they get a chance to answer on a 182-yard day from scrimmage for Marshawn Lynch. 2nd and 6.
Hey, five it.
Wilson out to his right. Now back to the middle. Peppers is in on the play. Daniels as well. 3rd down coming up. No gain on the play. Guyon was in there plugging up the middle as well.
Well, big 3rd down right here, Joe, as we know. I mean, you think about it, Seattle has all the momentum, the way that they came back. They took the lead. Of course, Green Bay able to go down, kick the field goal, send it into overtime. But I think Green Bay right now is still wondering how this game ever got to overtime. It's a big 3rd down for them defensively.
Wilson, Baldwin, what a throw! Inside the 40. On 3rd down and 6, 35 yards to Doug Baldwin.
Well, they've had this shot throughout the day. They've just been unable to complete it. Casey Hayward is in coverage on Doug Baldwin. He's in the slot. Press coverage, a lot of field to work. Casey Hayward's anticipating it's going to be a shorter route because of down and distance. Instead, it's a go route up the sideline and a perfectly thrown ball.
35 yards, longest play of the day for either side. Wilson toward the end zone. It is caught! Seattle's going to the Super Bowl. Jermaine Kearse.
safety in the middle of the field. They got one-on-one, no middle help. Jermaine Kearse takes the middle of the field. He beats Sherman Williams, and another perfectly thrown pass by Russell Wilson. When the game was on the line and you had to start making some plays, Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, they made them. And as good as this Packers defense had been throughout the game for about 55 minutes, they couldn't make the stop on 3 straight possessions when they had to. And Seattle's moving on.
How about Jermaine Kearse, the local kid, played collegiately at Washington, signed as a free agent, was with San Francisco, with Chicago, back with Seattle. Russell Wilson tried to get it to him 4 times in this game and threw 4 interceptions earlier. That's his 1 catch. And the local kid good from 35 yards out to send Pete Carrol and the Seahawks back to the Super Bowl. And you could read the lips of Mike McCarthy saying unbelievable as he and Carroll came together at midfield, and unbelievable is the right word.
It's as improbable of a win as I've ever witnessed.
Overwhelmed with emotion, Russell Wilson 3 for 3 on that final drive, 80 yards and the touchdown. He got better as the game went on. He saved the best for last. And the 63-year-old Pete Carrol has got his team back in the Super Bowl. Perfect throw.
Green Bay Packers were not expecting this type of play, Joe. No middle help, as I said. They give the big play guy, Jermaine Kearse, an opportunity one-on-one. Russell Wilson sees it. Look at the throw. Drops it right out of the sky into the hands of Jermaine Kearse for the winning touchdown.
Look on the face of the tight end Brandon Bostic, second-year pro out of Newberry, who could not corral the onside kick try. Seahawks took the lead at the end of that. Let's go down to the field. Here's Aaron.
Joe, thank you so much. We see it. Overcome with emotion. Russell, just tell me, I mean, what are you thinking right now?
This God is too good all the time, man. Every time. These guys on this team are unbelievable, man. The relentless fight over and over again. The people used to doubt, man. I'm just excited to be on this team. I'm excited to play with the guys. I mean, 4 minutes left in the game, 3 minutes, 4 interceptions, and just keep playing. And the guys just keep believing in me, man. You gotta give credit to the Packers. They had an unbelievable season, and it's just honored, man. Just honored, just blessed to be on this team.
Pete Carrol told me at the half this offense just needs to stay patient. They need to stay with it. Easier said than done. What was key for you guys there?
Just making the plays at the end, keep believing. There was no doubt. I just had no doubt. We had no doubt as a team. And man, just making the plays. Funny thing is, I was on the sideline right before we went out for that last drive. And I told Bell we'll be ready for the check to the play that we just ran through the touchdown. So I'm going to throw a touchdown and win the game. And sure enough, man, I just believe guys prepared me for these situations. Guys prepared our team too as well. I'm just like I said, I'm honored to be on this team. We're going to the Super Bowl again.
Yes, you are. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every team had multiple chances at Russell Wilson. When he was drafted in the 3rd round out of Wisconsin by John Schneider and the Seahawks, Schneider fought for him. They drafted a winner. Back to the Super Bowl they go. We'll come back with the guys on the set. The State Farm postgame after this.